everyone, hello. I'm back with another video, and today I am showing you how to make what I call a keto quote-unquote gumbo. And basically it's a keto gumbo soup with cauliflower as the rice. So basically I just want to go, it's very simple ingredients. It's more of a soup-ish type of dish rather than the typical New Orleans gumbo that we're all used to. And it doesn't, I don't need for it to sit and cook for long amounts of time. So it's like a very quick dish that will cook very, rather quickly. So I just want to show you what I have in terms of ingredients. I'm starting with the shrimp. Now I typically use raw shrimp and cook it, and I think that the flavor that you get once the raw shrimp is cooking is better. I've never used, actually this is the first time I'm using cooked shrimp, and it was only because it was on sale at my grocery store. So I'm going to use cooked shrimp today, but normally I use raw shrimp. I have one, that's about, I don't know, maybe a cup and a half to 2 cups of shrimp. Then I have 1 white onion. I have 1 package or 1 pound of smoked sausage, or you can use andouille sausage. I have a jalapeno, so there. I have cooked chicken, not cooked chicken, I'm sorry. I have a raw chicken, which I'm going to cook. And this is chicken breast. Maybe about 2 cups. I think this was maybe 2 medium-sized chicken breast. So about that much, maybe 2 cups. I have a lot of cauliflower rice, which it was basically just the cauliflower that I chopped up in my food processor. I'm not going to use all of that. I may use about 1.5 cups to 2 cups. I just want to see how it holds up and how much I really want to put in the soup. Now, one thing I want to tell you is that I'm not using other veggies like green peppers or tomatoes or things like that, because I find that, it gets really soft. And I want the soup to have a little bit of crunch in it in terms of veggies. I mean, there's a lot of meat in here. And of course the onions will get really soft. But, I still want some sort of crunch. And even with the celery, if I cook it really long, it's going to get really soft. So I'm actually going to add the celery in pretty late, along with the cooked shrimp, just so the celery can get a little soft to the taste, but still be pretty crunchy. And the reason why I like the cauliflower in it is, one, because it gives it the rice type of texture, but also the cauliflower holds up well in the heat as well. So I'm gonna start cooking and show you how I put this together. Okay, everyone, so now I'm going to put this all together. Let's start with the meat. And so just put in a little bit of olive oil in your pan just to get it together. And let's start with the smoked sausage. Now this is really hot. My pan is really hot. So we just want to cook this a tad, just so it gets a little bit of brown on it. Now we're gonna cook this a little bit of time. I mean, in terms of the when we let it simmer, the soup, it's gonna cook for, I don't know, maybe about an hour or so. So even for the chicken, we just want the chicken to just brown up a little bit, but it's going to cook for a while, so the chicken will end up cooking fully through. And as you can see, this pan is really hot, so it's actually maybe too hot. Because it's starting to brown. more than what I expected. All right, so let's take this out. And I think I wanted to use a spoon. Yeah, that was definitely too hot. It browned more than I wanted it to. But it's okay. Alright, so we have the smoked sausage done. Now let's add in the chicken. And you don't need any seasoning for the chicken, because it's just going to be in a soup anyway. And so I like this dish because, again, it's very simple, and actually this is quite what I'm going to make today is quite a bit for just myself. So I'm going to freeze a lot of it, and so sometimes during the midday time when I'm pretty much famished, I can just pull this out of the freezer and microwave it for about 7 to 8 minutes, and I have basically a soup. So I'm not gonna let this brown too much. I just wanted to get a little bit of a color in it, just so I can know, hey, I want to get this started. Because like I said, it's gonna cook all the way through. And also with chicken, for me, at least chicken breast, I don't like it cooked it too long when it's slow cooking because it tends to shred. But I want these chicken nuggets to still have texture and be whole, like chicken nuggets, basically. So I'm gonna add the onion, and we just want the onions to get translucent and soft. And I may not even wait to that point because it's gonna cook quite a while. And onions pretty much, when it cooks a while, it pretty much disappears almost. So, but I just want to just get it a little bit soft, just to kind of release the flavors a little bit. Now, at some point, I'm going to move this back to the back aisle to a small eye so that it's not too much heat. My two front eyes get really, really, really high. And it's not just because they're larger in diameters, because I don't know, just for some reason these eyes get really, really high. Even when I just use the inner part and not the entire diameter, the ring. There are two rings. And there's an inner ring that you can use separate from the outer ring. But even when I use just an inner ring, it gets really, really, really hot. So I'm gonna move this to the back at some point, just so it can cook at the level of heat that I want it to be. So as you can see here, the onions are pretty much getting soft. I don't really need it to be translucent just yet. Let's put in the seasonings, because I think it'll be easier for you to see the seasonings in the pan right now. So what I have here I have the seasonings that I would use. I have, let me put down my phone. I have black pepper, seasoned salt, that's actually Lori's seasoned salt, complete seasoning, paprika, and Cajun seasoning. I have about maybe a maybe a tablespoon of Cajun seasoning, 2 teaspoons of black pepper, about a tablespoon of Lori's seasoned salt, and then a tablespoon of complete seasoning, and maybe a tablespoon and a half of paprika. Okay, so I'm gonna put all of that in. And I forgot my garlic powder, so I am going to put that in now. If I can find it. And normally I would put in cloves of garlic, but I forgot to go to the store today and grab more garlic. So I will just have to do with garlic powder instead. All right, I can't find my garlic powder right now, so I'm not gonna put it in, but I'll put it in later. But basically, just get your seasonings in there, everything I just told you, and then add garlic garlic powder or garlic cloves, and so forth. All right, so let's put our sausage back in. All right. Now, what we're gonna do now is add the liquid, and I am adding some water, about 3 cups of water. And I'm actually gonna add maybe another 1.5 cups of water as well. Now, typically I like to use chicken broth or chicken stock, but in this case I'm gonna use just the water, but I'm gonna make it a chicken stock by adding bouillon and so forth. So first I have the Knorr's chicken flavored bouillon. Just basically chicken broth, dehydrated. So I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of that. Maybe a little bit more. I'm also going to add this Maggi pollo and just a couple of sprinkles of it. Okay, so that should make the broth. Now, another thing is I want this to be a tomato-based sauce, so I'm going to add just a can of tomato sauce. Or you can add tomato paste, I suppose. All right, this looks great. And so what I am going to do now is let this cook. And like I said, I want it to cook for about maybe an hour on like a low to medium heat. And then the only thing I'm going to do at that point is toss in the celery and the shrimp and then the cauliflower rice and let that cook for another 15 to 20 minutes, and then it should be done. So I will either come back at the cauliflower rice stage or just come back at the end and show you how it looks. But basically, this is what I have, and this is going to be the base of the soup, along with the crunchiness, which will come from the rice and the celery. Okay, so I will be back. All right, everyone. I tasted the broth, and it was really, really good. Really, really good. So now let's add the cooked shrimp. Let's add the celery. And it looks like the broth is kind of high, so I can't add too much cauliflower rice, so I'm gonna add a little bit at a time. And then as some of the veggies cook down a little bit, I will add more. But let's add so this is the cauliflower rice. Let's add, I don't know, 2 cups maybe 2.5 cups. Really just enough so you can taste the cauliflower, because like I said, I'm gonna freeze some of this, and so what I might do is, there's a lot in the broth right now, what I might do is in the containers that I use, I may fill it maybe not all the way, but maybe 3/4 of a way up, or maybe a little bit more than that, but not that's completely filled. And I would either add some cauliflower on top before I freeze it and then freeze it, or I might just freeze it, just the soup base, and then when I cook it, whenever I cook it, when I take it from the freezer, I might just add some of the cauliflower rice then. So I don't necessarily need, I'm gonna add just a little bit more. I don't necessarily need the cauliflower rice in here now, but I wanted, some in here now. But because there's a lot of broth for this pot, I don't want to change pots. Then I'm just gonna use this as it is. So this is it. I'm not gonna come back because it's really gonna look the same. It's not gonna change much in terms of the looks. So I just want to show you how I make my knockoff version of gumbo, but keto style. All right, thanks for watching.